19th lecture of Calligraphy Beginners. Up slant, down straight, left slant, right straight.
And staggered. Hello, classmate.
I am the main teacher of the introductory calligraphy class.
Jiang Su, welcome to the 19th lecture.
This lecture will be the last one on frame structure.
We will learn the upper slanting and lower upright.
And staggered. Lesson 19th.
Let's first talk about the upper slope and lower upright.
If the upper stroke is slanted,
Such as the character Ming, the left stroke is slanted. The horizontal stroke.
and the short one,
The short stroke is also slanted.
and the dot is also slanted,
Notice the position of the dot is at the end of the first stroke.
the start and end of the stroke should touch the second stroke.
Then the upper strokes are tilted.
And the structure is also tilted.
Then write the lower part of the character upright
And stable.
to make the center of gravity of the character stable.
Notice the start of the mouth.
The vertical stroke should pass through the horizontal.
Align with the left of the stroke.
The first horizontal stroke of the horizontal folding.
The horizontal stroke of the seal should be flat.
Cow.
The center of the character and the center of the character she
Are basically on the same line.
Rui character.
the radical of Wong, right? The vertical, right? The T short.
In OYT, regular script. This mountain radical is written quite interestingly. We usually don't see it. A mountain radical is tilted, but Aurang Sun handled it,
He wrote the mountain radical askew.
and it's very slanted.
The character below is very stable.
Even if the top part is tilted, will not affect the entire character.
So the strokes below must be written steadily.
Top is tilted, bottom is straight.
Left slanted, right upright.
Row.
Horizontals, stroke and tilt. Notice that the stroke ends with a sudden stop.
Press down and lift it back.
Okay.
Write the second one directly.
These two strokes have the style of cursive.
The position of dots. Notice the starting position is a little outside. Towards the inside stroke, the left stroke is slanted, and the vertical stroke on the right must be vertical.
Both vertical strokes.
Okay.
Notice the second horizontal stroke extends to the left. The angle is larger than the first horizontal stroke.
Okay. Start writing shorter here without touching the upper stroke. The curvature should be larger. The dot is higher up.
We can start by writing the vertical stroke.
The vertical stroke must be written straight.
Left tilt, right straight. First, the vertical stroke. The horizontal stroke.
Pay attention to the equal distance. Okay, right, the last horizontal stroke slightly flatter.
The staggered structure. The so-called,
Is that there are several strokes in a word.
such as the word Jia. Good, the roof.
And hook back through this point. And a short horizontal in the middle.
Okay.
The first stroke should be a left one.
Note that the length should not be too long.
The starting position of the arc hook is not at the intersection of the horizontal and vertical, but in the middle and lower part of the stroke.
Arc, hien hook.
Pay attention to the arc.
When you start to hook,
The hook should be at the same level as the first dot.
Align them up and down so the center of gravity of this character is stable.
The two strokes inside should be higher. Basically, it's at the beginning of the hook.
The strokes are close.
Pay attention to the direction of these three strokes
Are in a claw-like radial shape rather than parallel.
We will talk about the three strokes later.
Let's talk about it. Good. The left. The left stroke is high and the foot is long.
Let's add the position of these three horizontal strokes, the relationship of these three strokes, so that you can see more clearly.
Let you see more clearly.
Okay, now let's take a look at these three.
The direction of are not parallel to each other and are radial.
Like a paw spreading out. The starting position of each stroke should be in the middle. This character is a combination of three strokes. We should pay attention to the direction change. And it is also a character with a tight center.
The strokes in the middle are close.
So when we observe a character,
We should pay attention to these details. The same is the left.
besides the difference in length,
We should pay more attention to the change. The last one is longer.
and a little tail.
Here, we should pay attention to these strokes.
The last one should be longer. The first one should be shorter than the others.
The second one is short. The third one should be short too in the character duo. You should also pay attention to
The upper and lower positions cannot be skewed.
the common situation is like this,
The duo character becomes fatter as you write.
so you need to pay attention.
The two she characters at the top and bottom of the tail
And the final part,
should be basically on a straight line.
this width, I'll write it again.
Okay. The starting stroke is crucial, not to the right, but align it inward a little bit.
Okay. When writing, pay attention to the width.
So far, the brushwork of O's style, the content of the radical, and the structure are done. The ancients paid great attention to ritual. When writing for important affairs, they would spend a long time preparing. It's said, Zhao He, who helped Liu Bang establish the Han dynasty, Zhao, he was very good at writing, especially good at writing on plaques with a brush. Once, someone asked Zhao He to write a palace name. To write a palace name, Zhao He thought for 3 months before writing. On the day, many people heard Zhao He thought for 3 months before writing, came from far away to see it. Zhao He was like a general leading his troops. Movements of his wrist seemed to be directing thousands of troops. The words he wrote were like the civil and military officials he led. Every character was so powerful. The people who came to watch were crowded like a tide. Those present were deeply impressed by his wonderful writing. This is also the charm of calligraphy. The process of writing is also artistic. I hope you can also feel the charm of calligraphy. Next lecture will be the last lecture of our calligraphy. Last lecture, I will talk about the composition of the work. See you next class.